going on, people? Welcome back to another JSTV. Back again. It's the Carabao Cup match preview. It's a game between Chelsea and Newcastle United. Can we put the Blues in the mud again? Sorry, Ankit. But I've got guests, the regular guest with us, Paul, and also I've got a Chelsea fan as well, big Chelsea fan, Ankit from India. Big up to you, Ankit. Big up, man.
It's great to be back. I know that John and myself go a long way back. I think it's been a couple of years, ironically, that we've been discussing things and, of course, on a forum. But great to be finally here. It's just a time difference. That finally, we have to be here. Like I was saying off stage, that's one of those weeks. Yes, I'm a Chelsea fan. I must say that just about last couple and a half decades. But when it comes to what Chelsea has been through, especially last season and a half, you know that. Plus, what Newcastle has been through, I think we kind of saw that phase just about 20 years ago. So I can relate to exactly what Newcastle is going through. So I think this is going to be a great chat. But yeah, again, commiseration for the Champions League exit. But somehow I have to say that I have a soft corner for AC Milan, but I wasn't the cause. Just saying.
Yeah, I get you, man. It's got a long while, hasn't it, sort of thing. So it's good to see you back yet again. You're looking good. And let's go for the comments. We do that. Please, if you like the video, like what you watch, make sure you like and subscribe. And also, if you like to super chat is open. It's just 99p. And it's going live on Facebook, YouTube, of course, Twitter, and as now as on Instagram as well. So do Instagram watch us, do check it out. Let's go on to Leslie. Hi to Leslie. Please like, share to socials to keep this channel growing. Thank you very much indeed. Super chats open, indeed they are. Hi to Gary V and in the chat as well. And go with Paul Greer. We got to Paul and any Twitter followers as well. If you try, it says join, could you also go into YouTube and subscribe in there as well? Hi to Gary D. I hope you're great. And hi to Kate as well. It's good to see you, St. James Park the other day, and Jonathan, of course, as well. And thank you very much indeed for that. So I was love to see you, Jonathan. Absolutely amazing. Hi to Gary V. And hi to the legend, the young legend, JJ, who I've met many a times. Great guy. Right. And also no trolling, no duplicate messages as well. And any of that, and we know it's a troll, they are out. Let's go on to the preview. Ankit, Chelsea, Pochettino. He is splitting the fans in a minute because the football's playing is not great. So I understand it's great. If I'm honest with you, I don't know what their identity is. It's not a Pochettino I know at Tottenham. And the players looks unbalanced.
Exactly. No, you called it right. You know what? As in, it's so ironical, right? Again, because I remember Newcastle and Chelsea did meet in preseason, and I remember that game actually did not seem like a preseason game, if you know what I mean, right? I know that Louis Miley had an appearance there, and that's when we saw that, okay, fine, there is some player out there for sure. But that was a proper game. I remember that there was a proper 11 versus 11 in that game, apart from a couple of youngsters. And I think at that point in preseason, if you actually follow my channel, I was like one of them who was not calling for Poch in. Like, I was not Poch in at all when Poch was appointed, because of the fact, obviously, because he was a Spurs, not a manager, but the Spurs manager of recent times. So you have that thing, right? The Battle of the Bridge. He was the opposition manager. You get that. Like, if we have to go someone who has to rebuild our club, really, are we going to depend on the next Spurs manager? But that preseason game, why I'm highlighting, because that told me, along with a couple other preseason games and a couple other, say, the Liverpool game, the first game of the season, it told me that we have an identity. That identity was what? That Poch ball, we all know that it's somewhere down the line inspired by a Bielsa. A Bielsa, comma Guardiola is what you kind of associate with the Poch ball. You have a lot of pressing. You have a lot of, say, in between the lines passing. You have a lot of fullback coverage. Fullbacks actually, fullbacks or fullbacks playing as fullbacks, if you know what I mean. And sarcasm obviously goes to Poch's, selections in recent times, despite the injuries. And then the switch off play. That quick transition is what we're talking, right? And that is what Poch, you was always associated. That young energy vibe is there. And that's exactly what you are saying right now about Newcastle. That's the ironical part of it. The Newcastle in the last, say, few months have actually developed that sense of football. Is it because Poch has changed the way that he played in preseason because of the injuries, or is it because towards the beginning of the season we had a couple more signings than what we had anticipated, because we all wanted a Lavia and a Caicedo, but then by that time, you're not sure if you're getting there. So let's go and get an Ugochukwu. The people who actually play preseason like Casadei and Andre Santos have gone on loan to the championship. So the entire identity has changed in that 1 month of span, plus the injuries that we've had and the ownership, the pressure that you get being a Chelsea manager somehow has weighed upon him, in my opinion. Again, I won't lie here. Of course, I'm still kind of willing to give him a chance, and he deserves a chance considering the kind of sacking that we've had of managers, being Chelsea sometimes. But reality being that what Eddie Howe is doing to Newcastle is what exactly we wanted Poch to do to Chelsea. That's just me talking here, but
Yeah.
I hope that these are facts, right? And again, that identity is something that I believe that he is saying based on his interviews that he's still working towards, but he wants the players back. And again, Nkunku is a large piece of the puzzle. For whatever reason, he didn't even play him again at the weekend. I don't know why, but yeah, that's for another day.
Yeah. Totally agree. But he's definitely spitting there from me. I mean, I just don't know what he is about. I watch Chelsea fans TV, and fans just kind of work him out in a minute. Like, do you know what I mean? But at the moment in time, he needs to be given time, and he has to be positive as well. Leslie, is it Poch splitting the fans, or is it the owners? For example, recent reports they intend to sell Conor Gallagher. Well, I'll be amazed if they did that, man. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I don't think we need him. We really won't need them at all whatsoever. But they struggled yesterday against Sheffield United. I thought Chelsea were very, very poor. Apparently, I've got some more comments before we come to Paul. As long as not in for him, and 100% Gary as well. Let's go to Paul. Chelsea. Listen, I mean, they spent £1 billion, right, without a striker, right? And the thing is, the squad, in my opinion, looks very unbalanced. Yeah. And Nkunku hasn't played yet. Apparently, he's been training, couldn't even get on the pitch. Yeah. Are they going to same for Newcastle on Tuesday night? And if they do get on that pitch, I don't think he's going to be the answer at this minute, because he's just come off a long-term injury. Yeah. He needs to be taking his time. But as for Chelsea, for me personally, it's unbalanced. Yeah. You don't know what Chelsea's going to get. Cole Palmer, he's the one, for my opinion, is their best player. Yeah. Ryan Sterling to an extent. Yeah. What do you think, mate?
Well, we were saying last time before the league game, weren't we, when we had the preview then, that I thought that Poch was actually a really good appointment because, he can take teams and bring them up. And I thought that was going to be a good project for him, like Tottenham was. I don't know, and it is one of those things where it's a saturation of too many players because he has, probably 3 starting 11s he could pick from with the amount of players that Chelsea have. And then there's big money and there's big expectation. You spend a lot of money on Enzo, spend a lot of money on Caicedo, and that's not their fault. But the problem with the media, if you cost £100 million, they expect you to deliver now. The fact that Enzo was so much expensive and Caicedo was, and they haven't been, not terrible players, but for Chelsea, they haven't quite got going yet. And that's that spotlight immediately. It's like, well, you spent £100 million on that player. Why are they not playing? Why are they not playing for you? Why not playing at the best of their ability? I think sometimes the media gets a bit over concerned with price tag. And the thing is that Poch at PSG this is kind of similar to his run at PSG, that there's a lot of egos when he was at PSG. And, he was probably one of the most unsuccessful managers under there. He couldn't quite, I wouldn't blame him. It's a horrible place to work, I'm sure, because it's just, the mad people running the mad asylum. It's just, because Mbappe's making manager choices and bizarre things that happen at PSG that they just let you do. And then he's going to Chelsea, where they've gone over, a new owner who just wants to obviously, try and saturate it and get all the big players in and just pay big money and get away with contract stuff and hope that this is a project that comes into fruition in 3 years' time. I didn't expect, and I don't think even Todd Bailey expected Chelsea to have top 4 finish this season, because I think they're thinking more of the Enzos, these sort of players are going to be world class in 2 years' time, 3 years' time. And then you've got this whole Barcelona setup where you've got them at their best years for 2 or 3 years when you're winning leagues and winning Champions Leagues, and that's when it all kind of pays off. It's a risk, but it's one of those things where do they keep with Poch and that time? If it keeps going this way, the fans are going to get disjointed because they want success. Because Chelsea used to being up there with Man City and Arsenal. They're probably thinking, how are they down in 10th with Man United at the moment? Where it's just shocking to see like two of the bigger clubs in the world like down there struggling. So the fans will quite rightly be like, well, hang on a minute, we've been one of the best teams literally in the world for a long time, and we're stuck in 10th position with all this money you've injected, with a manager that should be doing better. It's one of those things with Chelsea that, I get you have a project, and they had that with Potter, didn't they? That was their idea, that Potter was going to be given time, and he was going to, you'll just have to let him off if he has a bad season. They didn't let him off; they fired him. So it's this, you don't know what they
can
want.
quickly come in there. Sorry to cut you, Paul, but John,
No,
you
you're
can
right.
feel free to add it. So, see, with Potter, the difference was like, I get that point. Like, at the end of the day, you got to persist with things, and there is a mentality, identity that you want, right? Especially someone who wants an identity plus play with young players. Potter comes across as one for sure, like a
Yeah.
Pochettino does as well, right? But when you're playing, like, with all due respect for any club, but when you're playing for a Chelsea, right, you need to show that kind of intensity. That intensity is required on the sidelines, because body language transpires to young players. Was that rubbing off in the right way? Probably it was going backwards. That's, see, sometimes again, that's maybe an excuse if you want to sack a manager. I know that, and probably Chelsea is the best example in the last 15 years at least, right? You can speak that, right? But the success that Chelsea seen, yes, we are spoiled. But again, being someone who's actually watched Chelsea in late 90s and early 2000s, again, I have seen Chelsea when my own club was shit. But when we were shit, we had intensity about ourselves, right? We always kind of went for the ball no matter what, the second balls, and then again, beat a little fights. Again, these are very little things that we're talking, but that kind of is needed being a Chelsea manager, that extra, X factor that you call. And that's something that realistically Potter did not have one bit of it. Like, back to work. And that's what eventually happens with Pochettino. I won't lie. 2 weeks ago, when we lost to Man United, the way that we lost to Man United and losing to you all did tell me that, okay, fine, the players, he's lost the players, right? But there were 10 players missing, and there are still 10 players missing. So that needs to be taken into account, right? So yes, if this continues after that, then realistically there has to be a thing, because things have changed. Like, right now we are talking about potential Premier League winner in Aston Villa, and that's for real, right? As in, you never know,
You
so
never know.
the Premier League has an already competitive Premier League has gone to the next level, right? And again, you mentioned about Arsenal, you mentioned about Manchester United, right? Two of the clubs. I'm pretty sure any Manchester United Arsenal fan will not sit here and say that, no, I'm proud of what we've done for the last 10 years. Yes, they're built towards what they've done. But in these last 10 years, trust me, and they are huge clubs you're talking about, right? They deserve more. As in the fan base deserve more. Does Chelsea deserve, the fan base of Chelsea, do we deserve to kind of go a long kind of a space like a Manchester United and Arsenal? And right now, with the competition in the Premier League, I think we don't want to get down there. Again, Newcastle, for instance, I remember like the Shearer days, right? Again, there were times, I know I'm talking about the early Shearer days, right? When he had just moved to Newcastle. I think that was a time probably Newcastle should have gone to the next level. But unfortunately, they went, the negative side. And that's what probably the danger is even more so now. And that's why I'm saying, like, sometimes it's a tough call, but you got to make a call. Yeah. The biggest mistake that Chelsea made directly is like, again, the transfers. I agree that these are potentially great players, but all at once, all youngsters, you got to be mixing it with some experience. You got to have it. When you had a Soboslai available in the market, when you had a McAllister available in the market early on, when you have given a Ruben Loftus-Cheek and a Christian Pulisic to AC Milan, when Tonali hadn't made his move to Newcastle, at that point, why did you go for Maignan? So there were different ways of dealing with the business. You could have mixed it with experience, because it's not that we didn't have money. And Chelsea still, I would say, we have a certain pull, not the pull that we had 2 years ago when we were Champions League winners, but definitely we still have a pull. And that's where the manager, will Potter be able to pull, let's be real, quality player, because he's Potter. Pochettino to some extent may, because of his PSG connections, although in the end he did get some success for sure, so let's give him that. maybe even a Premier League experience. So that's the thing, right? So you got to basically sometimes difficult call, but the right recruitment is crucial. I think Newcastle is key, right? And the kind of recruitment that Newcastle has made. Again, you can thank us for Lewis Hall and Livermento especially, for sure. But I don't know. I know I'm kind of changing the topic, but John and Paul, like, what do you think about the Lewis Hall? I hear that there's still a clause which is unmet. He still needs to go through a set of appearances. What do you see his future as?
It sounds that way. It sounds like when we got him on the loan, it was based on performance, whatever the hell they are. Eddie wouldn't confirm what they are, which to me sounds like he hasn't met them. Seems that he was so jittery about talking about it, and his unwillingness at the moment to play him much. I mean, he did play him a little bit against Fulham, but that was mainly because we were comfortable and winning. To be honest, I don't think that if we were losing that game, Hall would have seen a minute of time. So I think there's something, but I don't know whether it's fitness or whatever, or whether it's nervousness about spending the money. I'd love to know. I don't know what it is that's causing it to happen, but it doesn't seem like at this moment in time. Obviously, it could be proved different because we're only in the, we're getting into the second half of the season. But right now, it doesn't seem like Lewis Hall is in any of Eddie's plans moving forward at this moment in time.
Yeah. The fact is, you again, Lewis Miley is a great player. Don't get me wrong. But I think Lewis Hall last season showed, and even this season early on, I think showed that he has definite quality. Like, trust me, having watched the academy, he is a quality player. It's just that at some point you had too many midfielders, young midfielders and fullbacks at Chelsea. Although everyone is injured now, and now all of a sudden we need to take all our players back, but it's too late now, right? You know what I mean? So I don't know, John. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks very much. I tried to get through as well, but I've got to kind of agree, guys. I mean, Lewis Hall is not getting a squad in a minute, and Chelsea's not doing that well in a minute, and they need to get things sorted very quickly. But let's go to some comments as well. Do keep them coming in again. It looks like Arteta's been booked again, which I'm not surprised. And
he is such an embarrassment, that guy, honestly.
He is. That ain't good. And we've got one here from, just to let you know, guys, it's also live on Twitter. Getting people being asked, click on the right-hand side. If you go on my web page, click on the right-hand side, you can send comments through that way as well. So it comes through. So just for let you know, guys. So let's go on to Chelsea squad. Depth leaves every club in the country, even City in the dust, and that is some Gary V. But you know what? I still got he's got better squad depth anyway. Eddie said he's a gifted technical player, but needs to improve defensively. There's time, and he's only 18.
I agree. I agree with that comment.
Yeah.
Then Wolves got to go back against West Ham and
kudos to VAR. We'll see.
Let's go on to the Create 11. Right. I mean, obviously Chelsea might mix a match against us. And can you tell us who in goal he's going to play in goal for your club? You're the manager. I'm going to give you the squad.
You know what? Goalkeepers, I think both of us are in the same boat right now.
Yeah.
I know Dubravka is far more experienced. I get that. I think in midweek when you guys are playing Milan, I was like, okay, is Lord Carriers going to play? But luckily Dubravka recovered. Not that it helped eventually, but I think Petrovic has all of played one game, and I'll be. I'm not going to claim here saying that I watched every minute of Petrovic and I was scouting him, and that's why Chelsea bought him. No, I have trust in the directors, but do I have trust as much as it should be? Probably not. But he's the only option. Pretty sure Bettinelli is not going to play, and Petrovic is the one who's going to play. I'm not sure if he exists, but yeah, he's there. George Petrovic is the one. He's going to be there for sure.
Have to be because Sanchez out injured. Let's go on to the right back. He's to be your right back. Reece James is out, by the way.
Yeah. That's a bummer. You know, Reece James. Right now that's the biggest talking point among Chelsea fans. Like, there's a split opinion. It's almost like the Mason Mount part 2 happening. You know, I'm not saying that, but yeah. As in Malo Gusto is back from injury, but at the same time, he's just had literally 10 minutes over the weekend. Is that enough? Probably not, considering our right back situation on the whole. It's a cup game, it's a do or die game. Disasi against Gordon, that's like, okay, come on, hit me is the thing if you're doing that. Disasi had a good game, mind you, against Sheffield United, but that was Sheffield United. I'm definitely trying to risk Malo Gusto. I think we've got to risk Gusto. Malo Gusto's playing.
And who are you going to go with?
Malo Gusto.
Gusto.
Yeah. It's a risk, but
That's
I think it's because it's. I think I don't know. What do you think? It's the biggest game in Poch's Chelsea career till now. To be honest.
Just so far putting
Gusto.
Yeah. What's his first name?
Yeah. It's correct. Malo, Malo. Malo, Malo. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one. Thank you very much. Right back. So who's going to be your left back? I mean, he got who's it?
Kukure is injured. Chilwell is injured. Kukure is also out till Feb beginning. Similar to Chilwell. So I think again we have Ian Martin. I know he's played a couple games more compared to the league games, but pretty sure I know it for the fact Colwill is going to play, and Colwill did have a decent game over the weekend. So Levi Colwill is what I will go with.
You go with Matson.
I think no, Levi Colwill for this game. I think there will be a back-to-back kind of scenario where you try and repeat. I don't think Martin plays. I want
Colwill.
Martin to play, but I think Levi Colwill realistically plays.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'd be Colwill.
Yeah,
I think so. Do you think if you lose, do you think Poch goes if you lose the game?
I actually called it a few weeks ago, Paul. Again, I don't want him to go, but the realistic thing is, I think he will go. We know that because I think this season is gone. Like if he loses his game, it's a COLWILL.
COL.
Yeah, WI. Should come. Yeah.
Levi Colwill. Yep. Cool stuff. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. Let's go on to your centre backs. Who's going to be your centre backs?
You know what? This is a tough call. Considering it's a knockout game, I'm tempted to kind of go with Thiago Silva, but Thiago Silva has had too much game time recently, although we don't have many midweek games. I think this one will go with the Monaco centre back partnership, which probably being at PSG previously, Poch knows, so hopefully the communication is right. It's going to be Benoit Badiashile, who's been our, for me, he's the best centre back right now at Chelsea, if I'm being very honest. And Thiago Silva is too tired. I think it'll be a bit too much for him against Newcastle pressing team. So I'm going with Disasi. I'm going with Axel Disasi. It's a big call, I know. Thiago Silva not playing a cup quarterfinal.
Thiago's not playing any.
Yeah, but I'll be really surprised. The reason being because he's literally played every game the last 3 games, right? So for me, this will be a bit too much against a pressing Newcastle.
Yeah.
Considering
his age, that's the only thing. So it probably will be Disasi.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he has to be impressive versus minute, do you know what I mean? But I'm going to whack him in now and let's have a look. And Disasi. Disasi, there you go. That's your back four. Let's go for the midfield 3.
That's a lovely goal from Wolves.
Wow. I think, again, we did click in the second half against Sheffield, but that was a different formation. So I think against Newcastle, again, since you are apparently, at least on paper, missing a couple of midfielders, let's get a big boys back. That's basically Enzo starting. So Enzo Fernandez on the left-hand side. In the pivot, you have Caicedo. And on the right-hand side, probably have Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, I agree.
So look, I mean, it doesn't come up much, doesn't it?
And yeah, by the way, people, the Conor Gallagher point that John mentioned earlier, I genuinely believe that's just paper talk. Honestly, because Conor Gallagher, even Ian Martin to some extent, these are proper Cobham boys who love the club to bits. So unless it's let him be there, it's okay. I think either ways they can play. Enzo and Caicedo, just put them basically they are very dynamic anyway. So all the 3 play. Simple as that.
So you could go with Enzo, yeah.
Yeah, Enzo and
Hernandez.
Yeah. And Moses Caicedo, who finally had a good game in Chelsea blue. I must put that out. I've been waiting. Honestly, I know that a lot of us Chelsea fans have been protecting him. I've not been. I've called him out, but he's had a very good game against, I know, just Sheffield United, but I think he owned that game, Caicedo.
Caicedo.
Yeah.
I've got to put in Caicedo. Just give us a second. Caicedo. That is
I don't know, like what was the Newcastle midfield looking like? That's the thing, because if you guys don't have that extra, but again,
Honestly.
Joelinton brings a lot of physicality, man. As in,
He
you got to
does.
play three midfielders. Yeah, I would
But-
stick with this one. Yeah.
I don't think Joe's playing. I think he's going to be out injured.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he
Okay.
came off the hamstring against Fulham. Not sure how bad it is, but if it's a hamstring, he's not. He won't be ready by Tuesday. So I think our midfield, it will probably be Sean Longstaff, Guimaraes, and Lewis Miley. To be fair,
Yeah.
I just don't see it being.
Yeah, but
anything else,
Longstaff
because
has the
that's all-
work rate, right, to replace the strength of
Yes,
Joelinton.
yeah.
So I don't think there's much to differentiate there. So I think I will stick with this midfield, John. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we just missed a bit of physicality with Joe not being there.
I can
That's
understand.
that's the thing. Let's go swiftly on to the right side of midfield.
Wow,
Got
you
the-
called it Cole Palmer, the signing of the season for Chelsea.
Yeah,
It was all I think again, I know Badiashile technically was last season, but I think this guy again I would put right up there. Badiashile and Cole Palmer should be the first names on the team sheet right now, along with Gallagher.
Yeah.
So you're gonna go Cole Palmer on the right hand
Yeah.
side.
Yeah, I would go Cole on the right hand side for this one. Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer, and on the left hand side.
Yeah, I think Raheem Sterling did take Kyle Walker pretty decently in that game, so hoping he has one. I don't know, like why is Trippier, who was like the one of the best players in the season, has suddenly gone off the radar in terms of form. I don't know if he's playing too much, so I think it's but he's going to play this game. Pretty sure Trippier is going to start, right, for Newcastle.
He will. Yeah, he will. Yeah.
So I can see Sterling being there. Sterling has to be the left winger. Raheem Sterling.
Who's that? Sorry, who's that? Ryan Sterling.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put Raheem.
And then Drogba up front.
the motivated Drogba, right? You know
Oh
what?
man, can you imagine?
To be honest,
go on.
He's got. I know that he's like in terms of the amount of chances he gets, he misses way too much. I get that, and he clings on to the ball a bit too much, like almost like he thinks he's Messi or Drogba, like you mentioned. But the reality is he's actually got decent numbers. If you just look at the numbers, that's Nicholas Jackson we're talking about, right? And Broja, probably because of the physicality that Newcastle centre half bring, I could have thought about Broja starting, but Broja had the miss of the year against Sheffield United, as much as Nicholas Jackson misses. So I think Nicholas Jackson deserves to be starting over Broja. So I would start Nicholas Jackson yet again, because also he scored in that. I know it was just a friendly, but it was preseason, a pretty serious preseason game where Nicholas Jackson scored. I remember, right, in that game.
That's right. Yeah.
Nkunku on the bench. I hope to see some minutes, but in a cup game, really will be surprised. Like John said earlier, that Nkunku will be given a start. I don't see Nkunku starting.
And if I can't see Nkunku start to leave out, I really cannot, because it's just sitting right in a minute. But he'll be back very, very soon. Let's go to Ankit's selections there, and goal the Petrovic, the back four Gusto, Sassi, Badiashile, and Colville. Midfield three will be Gallagher, Castillo, and Fernandez, and the front three Cole Palmer, Nicholas Jackson, Ryan Sterling. And I think that side will be good enough. Will be good enough if they try to beat Newcastle. Do you know what I mean? But at the moment in time, I think Nicholas Jackson. Do you know what? Let's be real, right? I mean, I thought he's going to be fantastic, but at the minute, he just keeps getting offside. He just wanders about. I just miss these chances. You cannot do that. But there you go. That's
decent goal yesterday. To be fair, I thought the goal was quite nice yesterday.
I did as well.
I saw the first goal, and it was I thought it was a good finish.
Yeah.
In a very strange way, I don't know about you guys, but he reminds me, at least the mentality wise, he reminds me of a Timo Werner. Timo Werner, I know he didn't work at Chelsea, but for a cup game, you love the Timo Werner. You know what I mean? Someone who tries, doesn't give up every second. Someone who runs those channels. And I know he technically he's not there yet. Even Modric, he's still very raw. Although I do see potential in both of them, in fact. But again, it depends on how patient we are as a fan base, and we all know how patient we've been, right, in the last 15-20 years, especially.
Yeah. Fair enough. Seems to be disagreement regarding how bad Joelinton is. I mean, whoever thinks he's that bad, I'm sorry, need to get the head a shake. Because
He's
Jordan
awesome.
has
He's
been
simply awesome.
awesome.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Does he mean injury though? Does he mean by the injury?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
could be that.
Yeah.
Could be that. But how bad Jordan is to the injury sort of thing. That could be that. But Jordan Corden said that Jordan and then Shah's not serious. Joel said he hopes to be okay for Tuesday on way out of the ground last night.
We'll
We'll
Wow.
see. We'll see.
Bring the battle on. It's Gallagher versus Joelinton in midfield. Pretty sure.
Yeah. 7 p.m. on Tuesday. Confirmation.
Exactly.
Shah has a glut pull nowhere near serious as hamstring. I tell you what, when I first watched it, I thought I looked very, very bad in a minute in time.
Yeah.
But it could have been a couple months out of that. And then we would have definitely had to get a defender in. Look the same for J7 and both holding there. You know what? There you go. And let's go to Newcastle. Talking of that, we could be weak in midfield. Bruno, Sean on staff, Lewis Miley. I'm sure those 3 guys are going to be playing on Tuesday against Chelsea. But are we going to play the same squad like we did against United, Paul?
I mean, look, Trippier will be straight back in there. Depending on how Botman came through his couple of minutes, he might even start. Do you know what I mean? It's just if he's fit enough to start, he's starting. Shah, obviously, that just depends on where he is. If it's not as bad as we obviously don't want it to be, Shah starts. We know that for a fact. Then it's a fight between Livramento and Byrne, isn't it? We've left.
I wanted to ask you that, Paul, because because of the fact that Livramento Chelsea connections, obviously, plus the fact that I think on the counter, if you ask me about it, like just from a Chelsea perspective, having seen all of his academy days back then, trust me, Livramento is someone, as in, if you want to hit on the break, and I think Chelsea is a team that you would want to. We are one of those teams, and I think Livramento is the answer. But yeah, again, strength-wise, set pieces wise, we struggle. There, Dan Burn is better. So
that's
both
the
have
thing,
their ups and downs.
Yeah.
Right?
And knowing Eddie Howe's a big fan of having like the people he really trusts, like in big games, like, judging on the Carabao Cup run last season, it was pretty much the same 11, pretty much as he could. So if he has Dan Burn like fit and ready to go, I see Dan Burn starting this game just because he trusts him in that back 4. Again, midfield, if Joe is fine, then Joe is 100% starting with Bruno and probably Sean. And then it's more likely going to be Gordon. And I know people are going to go mad, but what else have we got? It's going to be Almiron. And I'm going to assume if Isaac's fine, it'll be Isaac rather than Wilson starting up front, because Wilson's just played 2 matches in a row, 90 minutes. I mean, he's made out of sandpaper, as we all know. So we don't. Yeah, I don't want to start in another game and going out for another couple of months and relying on Isaac by himself and him. It's this ever-changing circle, these two. One gets injured, one has to do all the workload, then the other one gets injured because they're doing so much workload. It's just this merry-go-round of injured players.
I remember Lampard badly wanted Callum Wilson when he was around in the first stint of Chelsea.
Yeah.
But because of his injuries is why we decided not to go for him. I remember that time.
It's one of those where when he's fine and fit on his day, he's devastating. His numbers were of Haaland. He can be that clinical. But that's the thing that comes with him. That this is why I'm saying that I remember people having a go at me, but I mean it. If he was fully fit and he didn't have his injuries, I swear that England would have a problem between playing him and Harry Kane, because it'd be like, who do we pick over one another? Because Callum Wilson can be that good, but it's just injuries have just done his career. So, shamefully. 3-0 to West Ham. You're on mute, John, my good man.
John is on mute.
Sorry, there you go. Do apologise, guys. 3-0 to West Ham.
I wish the Newcastle team is on mute on Tuesday, though. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's poor goalkeeping.
I know.
Poor goalkeeping.
It is not good. What's going to go on our team on Tuesday? How do you think he's going to play? I mean, he's going to be in goal. I mean, he's going to have to be Debacca again.
Oh yeah, it will be, definitely. Yeah, no doubt about it. I've just said the 11 that I think it's going to be. So it'll definitely be Debacca and goal.
Pretty much the tried and tested lineup, right? As in, the only you can argue is Lewis Miley. can question in such a scenario. But again, he's played the Champions League,
Yeah,
on a
he has.
virtual
Yeah,
knockout. That was a virtual knockout, right? As in he's played that,
yeah,
so why not this, right? And he's again, he played against Chelsea. I remember in preseason, and he played pretty well. I think that was a game where everyone took notice of this guy. Lewis Miley. I remember that.
yeah. He hit the bind and he scored. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
No, yeah, really, yeah. It's just refreshing to have these players come through, and it's exciting for the future. Thinking where these players could be in like a season or two.
Yeah. And I've got to agree with you. I'm see on that one there. Trips will be back if fit. Botman on the bench. I think it'll be Bruno Lascelles at the back. Tino left back. I'd be
Yeah.
surprised if Botman starts, as they were really worried about any possible flares up
Yeah,
in
I
the
can see
knee.
that.
That is the worry. That is the big worry. Do you know what I mean? But you've got to get Botman right. For me, would you play him against Chelsea just to ease them in? Probably not. I think Luton will be rough. Will be a rough side as well. They're a rough and tumble side. And you know what? I mean, they're going to make it difficult for Botman as well. But you got to play him for the Forest game. I think Forest game would be perfect for him. Do you know what I mean? Do we need to rush him back? We'll see what happens. But you know what? I think the squad we've got now are good enough to win the game. I want to talk about Miguel Almiron as well. He's getting a lot of stick from Newcastle fans as well. Could you believe that? Absolutely
really?
unbelievable. Well, there's someone last week posted on a tweet saying that if against Milan, if he doesn't perform, he won't be leaving the stadium breathing. Do you know what I mean? So someone made a
Oh dear!
Wow.
Miggy. And you know what it is?
I would bite your hand off if anyone gives me a Almiron kind of a player right now, to be honest. As much as Cole Palmer has been brilliant, don't get me wrong. But I think Almiron has been like, I remember the run that he had. I know last season, maybe that's why some fans, think that purple patch is going to stay forever. Well, even the best of the best footballers have a purple patch, don't they? Right? And I think he's good. But come on, you cannot just replicate that kind of form what he showed last season. But I think he's still doing it for you, isn't he?
I honestly, mate, we were saying this yesterday. He's a Marmite player for Newcastle. Half the fan base either love him or half the fan base either hate him. He's just this figure of either pure frustration and sell him and get
the
him
Ziyech
out.
vibe. I get it exactly what you're saying, because Hakim Ziyech got the same thing at Chelsea. The guy, like, he won us a Champions League. Like, I know he wasn't like instrumental in winning it, but he had his moments, right? But people never gave what he actually deserved, if you really ask me, right?
Yeah.
But Almiron is at least playing more consistently, so he's got to be given more credit, to be honest.
I love Almiron. I think he's a very good. His work rate is not ever in doubt. When he's on his run of finishing, he is phenomenal. I think he had one of his best games in Newcastle shirt against PSG away. He was unbelievable in that game. But I get it. Sometimes he does boil your blood because he had an easy tap in, and he's so underconfident that he doesn't go over his right foot, and it's just one of those little things. If he just trained it a bit more or got a bit more used to it, it's that little thing, but it winds some people up to the verge of sell him. But some of these same fans are telling us to get rid of Eddie Howe, so their opinion to me means less than nothing, to be honest.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I like Miguel Almiron. I mean, look, at the end of the day, right? I mean, he's not going to win me a title, but when he plays, I'm going to back the guy every time. And you know what? He's part of the team, so it is what it is. I agree with you. Another right side midfielder, but not at Spencer Miggy, but to complement and provide competition. Miggy gives 100. Leslie, I totally agree. Les, I agree. I swear words with alcoholic. I'll be having a black Russian with tequila cheers. That's Gary B. Wow, you gotta get it in there. No one ain't gonna be Judy Hopps, by the way, when it comes to one-liners. No way. But Gary V, big up. And I got a fullback. Big up to fullback, by the way. Chelsea are going to win. Fingers
crossed. It's a do-or-die match for sure.
I like the confidence, buddy. I like the confidence.
No, but see that's the as in, I would not say scariest part, because come on, we are still Chelsea Football Club and I love my club to bits. But the realist tells me that the fact that Newcastle are out of the Champions League and out of Europe, and let's be real, top 4 is like it's everyone's guess right now, right? It's not like a given.
Yeah, it
That's what
isn't.
Newcastle
No.
is going for sure, right? And considering the amount of money that you want to pump in, and trust me, you have not yet pumped in as much as what you could. So the expectation will be for you to win this match. It's the same. So
Yeah.
for me, it's really difficult. One of those things I think where it's as important to both the clubs. It's literally as important to both the clubs. I know every cup knockout fixture is, but here we are talking about potentially 1 week ago we were thinking like, okay, fine, Newcastle would have already gone through the Champions League rounds or maybe the Europa League. They'll be subconsciously a little bit, say, backward or a little bit safer.
Yeah.
Now no, Newcastle will, I think, for this game, because that it's basically this or out. That's it, right? So I think the press of Newcastle, that's something which got Chelsea in the 4-1 defeat, will come back. I can expect that for sure.
Yeah, the only thing we have going for you is our away form is horrendous.
Oh yeah,
it is dreadful this year. Wow, does it ever need to improve? Because it's been pretty poor. In the league, our only win away is the Sheffield game, and I know it was a great win, but that's our only win away the whole season.
Paul, you say that. Just yesterday, Chelsea finally, after a year, got 2 back-to-back home Premier League wins.
I was going to say,
and that's the irony in this conversation, right? Because something's got to give. It's clear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
True.
Does it go straight to penalties if it's 0-0 at full time? Is that right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Straight to penalties.
Cup, right? God. It goes to penalties.
Oh, my life.
That doesn't look great neither. But then again, Petrovic hasn't really been tested in the Premier League neither, so we don't know what's going to happen to him.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what I mean? He hasn't been tested yet. That is about it. But he will be tested against us, by the way. Let's be honest about that. We'll see.
Yeah.
Without Biggie goals, we wouldn't have played Champions League.
100%.
That's a fair comment.
100%.
Fair comment. 12 goals this season. 12 goals last season there. 12 goals. And it won't go to pens. Probably warmed, because I think this game's going to be over in 90 minutes as well. So it's nearly 3:45. And so we know it's at Stamford.Bridge. It's going to be as close as well. But do you think Pochettino is going to get time at Chelsea? Do you think he's going to get time?
Again, it's a matter of should he? Of course he should. I don't think any football fan who follows the clubs that we are speaking about, will tell that he deserves a sack because it's unfair, because has it been all him? No. But it's a results-driven business, right? That's a reality, right? If you intend to make a change at some point and you panic and make a change, like how we got an interim manager like a Lampard last year, what is the point? There is no point of doing that, correct?
Yeah.
So either you make sure no matter what he stays, but that should not transpire when he's giving his interviews. That should not transpire when he's talking to his players, right? He should still talk about winning, because Chelsea is about winning, even though we are in a rebuild phase. But if you decide, okay, fine, this is what I want. If you don't achieve this, say by end of January, then you're gone. That's incorrect. You either sack him now or sack him at the end of the summer or next year. And then it's better to do that way. Midway through the season, when the window is not here, you don't have your players. It's unfair on any manager. It's unfair on the players because they don't know the future, right? So for me, he shouldn't be sacked right now. But the reality is the way that we kind of are playing games, if you're not seeing progress by the end of this month, I will have to revisit the statement, and I've already gone on record saying that I'm not going to change that. But I would say Tuesday's game is very important. Just being a realistic, that I think if he loses that game, I think somewhere down the line, players like Enzo, etc., will be thinking like, okay, fine, what's our future? Because here, the cup games are going again. He didn't start the weekend, Enzo, remember? So I think there will be a lot of conversations which are due. But like you said, it's going to be finishing before going to penalties. I would like to think at Stamford.Bridge on a cup night, I would say that we can get the better of Newcastle, considering we saw from close quarters recently how you guys beat us, right? And considering your form, I think it's not ours is bad, but again, I don't think it's like as bad as what it was when we met you last.
Yeah, I agree. I think Chelsea will be mad to sack Poch. They're not in trouble yet. He has just come come in and not had time to sort out half the issues of the squad, who would they get? The thing is, right, if they sack him, it'd be like resetting the game, start and reset. Do you know what I mean? Just don't want that at all whatsoever.
Steve Bruce.
No, but
Oh,
come on. But you know what? That's a good point about the comment, not by what Paul made, but just saying. The point is like it actually also depends on who is available. Like like how Bayern Munich made sure that they took Tuchel because they knew between Tuchel and Nagelsmann in the long run they want someone who's a serial winner like a Tuchel, right? Chelsea is about serial winning. So again, I know it's a misfit. These owners and Jose Mourinho is a misfit, absolutely. But if someone knows Chelsea in and out, it is Jose Mourinho. If he's available and if he can steady the ship, I would be open as an exception, yes. But otherwise, no. Maybe even Antonio Conte, because sometimes you just need short-term results. The project is great, but sometimes you need that for the players to believe in the club. Now, right now, what's happening is like the players are not believing. Again, it would have helped if we would have recruited better and recruited some senior players as well along with these youngsters. Then I would have not said these statements. Is is he able to deliver that way how a senior player needs to deliver when in team talks? And that's something that only the players have to answer by the performances and the way they intend in the matches. I think that will be the answer. So again, jury's out for me is the answer, to be honest.
Yeah, 100% there. Let's go on to Villas in front against Brentford, or stand to 10 men. Hi to Russ. I hope you're right, Russ. And you can always leave a comment on here or on Twitter as well. You could do that, that'd be brilliant. But I can't see Pochettino getting stats. It's just no way, because he's a damn good manager, sort of thing. He needs his own players. The players that when he walked through the door, Paul, they weren't his players at all. I mean, was Casido a Poch signing? No. Mudryk, we got to touch on Mudryk as well. I like Mudryk, I really do. But at the minute, he's just not doing it in the minute. You know what I mean? Brilliant game against Fulham. Brilliant game against Fulham. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to lie, but he needs to do more.
It's just one of again. It's with these type of clubs, you just don't know. Does Poch have say on signings? I'm sure he has some say. You'd hope that he has all of a say as a manager, but sometimes these clubs, you just don't know, do you? Like Man United is another one where the fans are always saying like that wasn't a Ten Hag signing, it's a Glazer signing, it's a signing for a back of a shirt to sell T-shirts or whatever. So, my hope is that they should the manager should have a lot of say in who's bought, because it's his. He knows what he wants for the team. He knows what style of football he wants. So. Yeah, I always think it's mad when owners think they know better than the football manager, because he's the one training the players and seeing them on the football field. And if he said to them, like, don't buy, whoever, don't buy that player, and they still buy him, what are you going to do is that?
Yeah.
Again, Chelsea fans were getting fed up hearing that I think it was Ted Bailey was going into the dressing room talking to the players.
Yeah, uncalled for, totally.
Yeah,
I agree. And you know what? Sometimes, the owners need to just admit, okay, we've made a mistake. At the end of the day, it's their own money. It's their own hard-earned money, right? And they need to admit that we made a mistake, take an L, and then kind of rectify. I remember back in the day, I just mentioned Jose Mourinho just being an optimist and being a Jose Mourinho. And then Stan, you can see behind me for that. But having said that, Roman Abramovich, you remember, right? The kind of success that Chelsea got in the initial years, especially. And then Jose Mourinho went off because I think we had signed Balak and Shevchenko. And that's something that I think Jose Mourinho wasn't really wanting. That was more like a club signing, you know what I mean? And then that disagreement started. The Champions League results started. I remember 2007-8 season, like it was yesterday. But then again, he did come back in 2015, right? So the whole idea was that Roman Abramovich was the kind of owner who wanted the benefit of Chelsea. That was first. His ego was second. For him, more important was Chelsea needs to succeed, because he was a football man. He is a football man, Roman Abramovich. Is Todd Burley and co, because it's a consortium at the end of the day. Are they football people? You know what I mean? As in, they are not. That's the reality. So they need to, and that's where the directors come in. The directors need to understand the main DNA of the club is about winning, but at the same time, we are looking at building an identity. So they need to be backed with their decisions. If not the coach, it cannot be the owners.
Yeah, Agree with you guys. Agree with you as well. We've got another 10 minutes to go. Could we wrap up the show? And I'll see you from India. But are you going to the match on Tuesday, Paul?
Me? No. I'm not going to anything until Sunderland at the moment. So, but no, if there's enough interest, I'll do the watch along on Tuesday night if people want to. We can do that if there's enough people there. Yeah, because that'd be. It was fun doing it. Well, it was fun doing it to make it less painful against Tottenham.
Yeah. I'd say
ask me about it, Paul. Doing it all the time, and people who follow our channel know that the amount of rages and the graphs going in my mood swings is like crazy. But that's what football is, right? Because that
it is.
That emotion is something that we all live for. To be honest,
not good. Just like I said on Tuesday, it's a massive game. Let's get a score prediction as well. We'll get that in as well, and you can join in the chat as well. And Kit, what do you think the score's going to be on Tuesday night? Do you feel confident Chelsea's going to beat us, or are you not sure, or are you just going to admit defeat?
I'm not going to claim that I'm like confident because like we have to respect that Newcastle, and I said it in the beginning of the show. Newcastle have been unlucky being out of the Champions League, and this is coming from someone who has a soft corner for Milan as well. Remember, trust me that you were unlucky, right? And I know that the kind of football that Eddie Howe is playing, exactly how Poch promised to be playing, and that's something that you delivered. But at the same time, being a realist, at Stamford.Bridge, surprisingly, all of a sudden we've got a better run of results compared to away. Plus, we know that these players are motivated for those X Factor games more. This is an X Factor game. Because of it being a knockout. They know that if we win a Carabao Cup, at least to some level, we can play some European football. Can we get that through the league? We cannot. Yes, I know Newcastle are in a similar boat, but Newcastle are at least better placed. So I think, be it with the night crowd, be it with the players' intensity, the motivation, especially Nicholas Jackson and others, I think we might make it, although we will concede for sure, considering there are changes at the back always for Chelsea because of the injuries. So I'm going to call it a 2-1 victory for Chelsea. And I believe you mentioned Modric. You know what? I have a feeling he might come off the bench and score the winner for us.
Yeah, cool stuff. Paul, you got a prediction right for once yesterday.
Oh, I got it the wrong way around. I got it the wrong way around, but I did get it right. Yeah, I predicted 3-0 Fulham because I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how the mentality was going to be after the Champions League stuff, but I got the score right, just not the team. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to. It won't be right, so don't go with what I say, no matter what. But I have this horrible feeling that it's going to be penalties, and I hate saying that. I have a horrible feeling that it's just going to be one of those games where, it's tough. It's 1-1 at 90. I think it's going to be 1-1. Put it that way. When the full-time whistle goes, that's my prediction, and I think we just eke it out on penalties just due to the fact that our keepers are slightly more experienced than Chelsea's. That's the only reason I see it going through to penalties for Newcastle. But like I say, I'm always wrong. So I'd say we go through on penalties.
Cool stuff. For me, I'll be on Tuesday if I get on time, and I'll believe that we're going there on a win back at the W against Fulham, and we've just got to get our winning streak together. I believe we're going to get a result at Stamford.Bridge with this team. I'm going to say 2-1 to Newcastle, and we will concede, but I think we're going to see the day. And let's be real, I think we can do it. I mean, Callum Wilson is going to get on the score sheet, and I think Bruno's going to get on the score sheet as well. So 2-1 to Newcastle. Let's go on to Gary. I think Chelsea will be slight favourites, but I believe they'll win it and may even surprise Chelsea with the scoreline 3-1 Newcastle. And if Paul's right, then this could be Dubs becoming the hero. Do you know what?
That's my thinking. You see.
Yes.
It's a redemption arc.
Remember, we all never know. We don't know who Petrovic is. Just saying. Interesting.
Exactly. Get in there. Right, so we're going to wrap up the show there, guys. We've been here for another hour, and it's great to say thank you for Ankit as well for coming on as well. And
Pleasure, mate.
and Kit, did you enjoy it, mate?
Oh yeah, for sure. Again, always, like John knows it as well. Always in the chat, always watching all your streams. And again, it's just the time that we've not kind of come upon, and we've not been able to do a stream. But hopefully now we'll have many, first of many, for sure. Again, Paul, great to meet you as well. Great conversation. But of course, like for people wondering, yes, I am a Chelsea fan. But like I said, love my football. As one of those cool guys who kind of watch the, as in, just play football anywhere and I watch it, and we try and cover it on the channel. So again, you guys are welcome, and so are everyone else. Great to be here.
Brilliant stuff, but don't go away. I'll be quickly backstage. And Paul, before you come to Paul, Anki, what you got coming up on your show? So people could
so
tell us where
we
you can
have
find your channel, and tell us also as well where we could what you got coming up.
Right. So obviously the channel is called Almighty Blues. Like I said, it's a fan channel for all to see. We kind of do a lot of content. Of course, there's a huge UCL draw tomorrow, so we'll be there. I know. I don't want to kind of remind the UCL thing again and again, but remember, even we are not there, so it's okay. So so we're going to cover that for sure. But yeah, we try and cover as much content as possible. European football, Premier League, as in these are two USPs. But again, the Euros coming up over the season, pretty sure we'll be covering that. So that's Almighty Blues. For people out there who might be a little bit interested in cricket, I do cover a lot of cricket content as well. That's on a second channel that's called Almighty Sports. Both on YouTube, Almighty Blues and Almighty Sports. But yeah, I'm available on Twitter as Almighty Blues as well. If anyone wants to hit me up, feel free to. Again, always up for a banter, always up for a discussion. But at the same time, I'm an avid quizzer, and anyone who's interested to come on for quizzes, we do have a quiz show called Who Am I? Do check it out when time permits. Would love to get you on, guys, as well, because that's something that is pending. Hopefully after this game we set up something.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I mean, if one of the questions is who's the worst team at cricket and it's England, you've got the right answer. So we've already got
well, India's been through a heartbreak more recently, though. I can imagine that. But yeah, these are things. But yeah, as in, again, we do football discussions almost daily, but cricket is almost like seasonal on the channel. But yeah, definitely welcome.
Thank you very much indeed. That'd be brilliant. Just let me know, and I'll just come on as well. Paul, obviously it's Blank Canvas PC, and we're just going to find you on Twitter. And what you got coming up on your show, mate? You're doing a watch along on Tuesday.
Yeah, like I said, we'll see if there's enough people who want to come along to it. So if people are around, just let me know. They normally just send me a message or whatever. So if there's enough people who want to come along, that'd be cool. And then I'll set it all up, and then we'll get going on the Tuesday for that. Stapleton and all the regulars when we come to that, if they're around. So yeah, we'll just see if there's enough. If not, we'll just catch up on after the game's kicked off after next. But we'll see. It'd be good to do it if not. But
cool stuff.
I'm hoping let's see. My favourite thing will be to see Man United get smashed in a minute, and then Ten Hag get sacked.
Yeah, I tell you what, though, I think Man U are definitely in the mud in the minute, like under Ten Hag. I can't lie, but Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool's going really, really well. And I tell you what, I would not be surprised if Liverpool beat Man City next year, and then probably win the thing, probably win the title as well. But
there are a couple of signings away. You're right, actually. But you know what? Honestly speaking, honest to God, obviously as a competitor growing up those years between Liverpool, Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, I want Aston Villa to kind of hit that accelerator button. You never know. Let's have a crazy season again.
Yeah.
You never know. Just quickly, last comment from Lewis. Big up to Lewis, by the way. I know we're talking about the Chelsea game, but Newcastle women has just won 11-3 against AFC Clyde. You know what? Big up Newcastle lasses. Big up to them. We're going to the Premier League, and I tell you what, to get in the Premier League, let's be real, I'll sure be there watching their games as well. Do some vlogs from there as well. So, guys, if you like what you watch, thank you very much for coming in, chats. You've been absolutely amazing. Thanks for Instagram, listeners as well. Watch us today for the first time, and also on Twitter and also on Facebook as well. And I should be back on a different channel tomorrow, the Shades of Blue podcast. I don't know what time it's going to be on, but I should let you guys know. And we can talk about the half-term report from my team. So listen, do check us out for that. I may not do a show tomorrow, but I'll be back on Wednesday for the review of the Chelsea game. So keep your eyes peeled for that, guys. And watch what you do. Thanks for Paul. Thanks to the Chelsea fan and Kit from India as well. And a big up to you guys. And as always, on with the lads.